Hello everyone. It is now 9:44 p.m. at night. So, um excuse me. I have used like almost 2.5 gigabytes of my phone data today. And now it's going to be over 2.5 after this video uploads. But so, ooh, the Wi-Fi is still not working here. Because they're transitioning to turning this into a different hotel brand or whatever. Um, so, well, I'm doing the video in the dark. Y'all know what I look like. I still look the same way. I still got the same clothes on from the video earlier. Excuse me. Sorry for yawning. So, I'm trying to save storage space and phone data. That's why I'm doing it in the dark. Um, and also, I don't have to worry about battery because I'm charging my phone now. It's charged. I'm thankful and glad to have, an extra night to night of hotel. But the weather is supposed to be really bad. I probably should have done a live stream tonight, but I'm just, trying to take a break from the harassment. You know, like trying to de-stress myself, you know. That's why I'm not live streaming tonight, but even though I'll be shocked if I woke up tomorrow with enough funds for 3 more nights. So, excuse me. They're trying to give me the hiccups and um excuse me. So, excuse me, I got a yawn. So, I checked for the prices for tomorrow, but I haven't checked for the prices for all weekend. Tomorrow is Friday, right? So, I'm not aware of any events or festivals this weekend, but as usual, festival or not, they usually raise the prices on weekends for the hotels and stuff. Um, excuse me. And I feel, I mean, the gang stalking cult network, they have forced a lot of us targets to be homeless and jobless and no support and everything while they just steal from us, um and rob everything from us. And so I apologize that in order to get out of the rain, I'm wrongfully banned from the shelters and stuff due to both online and in-person gang stalking attacks and a lot of the hotels, so in the motels. So I don't know of any hotels out in the east that have where you could get a hotel and no deposit. But I guess I wouldn't mind to go out in the east for a hotel, but the problem is if I would do it if I had help with funds for an Uber round trip, because it's very difficult, you know, it's dangerous on the bus rides like the broad bus or certain bus lines that go out in the east. The people are dangerous, and they will hurt you. And they probably would kill me, you know. And excuse me. So, that's, I mean, a lot of people had advised me to stay away from Chef Ventura Highway and anywhere out in the east because of the drugs, prostitution, and high crime and murder. And every time I try to ride the bus towards that way, it's always somebody trying to harm me. So that's why I try to stick to well, on rare occasions I have had hotels downtown, but a lot of the times, Jefferson Parish, you know, and it's like a lot of where I gotta be downtown, homeless on the streets. But you know, I gotta be downtown homeless on the streets. But I can't get to be homeless on the streets in Jefferson Parish. I have to be downtown in Orleans Parish, homeless on the streets at that one spot. It's the only place I know of where I could go being homeless on the streets when I have to be on the streets. I don't know of anywhere else I could go. You know, where I can legally go. So I got wrongfully kicked out of and banned from by the levee by the old Gretna Ferry. And if it weren't for those 5 boys that in-person perps that illegally swatted me and try to make sure I wrongfully go to jail, excuse me, for exposing their perp tactics, they were the ones that were committing the crime. So I have evidence of them gang stalking me. And the cops still illegally sided with them and were about to grab me to wrongfully arrest me and take me to jail. And they told me that I was trespassing, can't go back there no more. So y'all know what happened a couple of days later. I actually did end up wrongfully getting arrested because the online perps illegally swatting me. They called up the police and lied and said that they were the owners of that house. And they thought the shit was funny. Excuse me. And you know, so well, you know, I don't think there are any hotels close to University of New Orleans. I haven't known of any hotels to be over there, but they might. I don't think they do. I don't think they have any like towards the lakefront area, like hotels and stuff, or certain other areas. Like the only hotels I know uptown is St. Charles Avenue, and those be like the richer, fancier folks kind of hotels, you know. Um, but in the Marigny area, Marigny Bywater, that's well, I haven't seen any really hotels over there. Really, they might have a few little local hotels maybe, but those be for the rich folks. Excuse me. But Yeah, y'all know they got plenty of hotels downtown, but you know, but they have certain hotels around the surrounding parishes and cities, but I don't have the transportation to go to places like Houma and Slidell or Chalmette or Luling, Louisiana, you know. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind venturing out a little bit, but I don't have the transportation. And I haven't heard of any bus services in places like Slidell, or even if there's somewhere like Mandeville or the North Shore, you know, where I could go. You know, all I know is the bus transportation and the Uber rides and the hotels for um, Jefferson Parish and Orleans Parish, you know. But, you know, the stalkers having me think it's funny to, you know, maliciously lie on me and have me wrongfully banned and kicked out of hotels. That's a different form of illegally swatting me, you know. Excuse me, that's another version of illegally swatting me, you know, it just without the police being involved. But, yeah. So, I, you know, it's like the $80 and $60 cheap motels that the stalkers got me wrongfully banned from. It's like they won't even, or any of the places where I'm wrongfully banned from, they won't even allow me to defend my innocence and explain myself and explain the truth about what's going on. So I'm just wrongfully kicked out of and banned from the cheaper hotels and motels. Um, and now I'm forced to have hotels that's over $100 just about every night, or I'd be lucky if I could get a discount or a special, or work up enough for free nights. But I would have to do more hotel nights in order to earn free nights. Um, you know, excuse me. And even if there were certain hotels or whatever that's $70, um, you know, I might have to pay like a $50 or $100 deposit or incidentals fee. I can't go back to places like Red Roof Inn because they're too filthy, and like the beds in the hotel rooms are too filthy and disgusting, and they don't seem like as if they're livable. You know, excuse me. Um, both locations. You know, so um, but yeah, it's like I cannot get to have um hotels under $100 that's no deposit. They if they do get to be under $100, they still end up. Now I have to have hotels that require a deposit, or they will have to be over $100, even though I might be lucky to have a hotel with no deposit. But that now I have to go to hotels that's over $100. Excuse me, but like over $100 or between 100 and 125 or 150. Like y'all. I mean, people should get mad at the stalkers for setting me up and doing this to me. I could have still been in Los Angeles right now. I probably would have still been on Section 8. But, but who knows? If I probably would have still been on Section 8, the gang stalking cult network would have probably had me wrongfully permanently banned from the Section 8 program forever. You know, excuse me. Like, the stalkers harass me and say, go get a job, or like when I try to tell people, well, hey, I found this place that's, $540 a month and such for a deposit, or, you know, or if I might say well, I found this place that's, $600 a month and no deposit, and then if I say I need help to get the funds, then like it seems like nobody want to help me, you know. And then the stalkers illegally find out where I'm at within less than 2 hours, or sometimes they find out where I'm going. I don't tell them, they find out the exact place I was talking about before I even leave the state. Like that $540 place in Bloomington, Texas. Fake Darnisha illegally found out the exact cabins that I was gonna be at. He found out he found out a day or two before I went down. I mean, before I got the Greyhound bus to go to Bloomington, Texas. Excuse me, and I'm traumatized and can never go back over there. And they made it so difficult for me to transition and to go over there, For me, it's like living there, it's like living in prison. I got out of there my soonest opportunity. And then when I got that so-called permanent apartment in Pensacola, fake Darnell illegally found out where I was at within less than 2 hours of me being there. And then the in-person stalkers started their noise campaigns. I'm like, wow, I've been here not even 4 hours and they're attacking and gang stalking and harassing already. What I thought was a blessing turned out to be a gang stalking setup. And then, and it's like, even when I was in Bloomington, like almost every day, fake Darnell was making death threats and sexually harassing me, and also talking about that I should be cremated. And he's like, who's gonna claim your body when you're dead and stuff like that, your family don't like you, your family don't want you around, whatever, who's gonna claim your body when you die. Excuse me. And even yesterday in my live stream, he was harassing me about that I should be cremated. And so every time I try to talk about how the stalkers don't have that, the internet stalkers don't have that authority or right to declare that I should be cremated. Every time I try to say that, he kept illegally hacking in the live stream and erasing my words and stealing time off my live stream. So now I have the freedom to say what I need to say and want to say and need to say in a regular video, where he cannot stop me. He cannot stop me here. Excuse me. So, even if I'm wrongfully outcasted from the family, why don't I have a right to be buried by the rest of the family? Or it doesn't even have to be by the rest of the family. I declare that if I die or anything happens, I would like to be buried and not cremated. And I've said that several times. Like these internet stalkers, faceless, nameless stalkers, think that they got the fake authority to make decisions on my death. death arrangements, and I'm still alive, you know, and my twin sister is helping and allowing them and encouraging them to do this. Like, I found out that cremation is not biblical. Cremation is of the occult, you know. Excuse me. You know, I heard that cremation is not Christian. It's not a Christian practice. It's a satanic occult practice to cremate. And the fake foster mom, Adrian Felder, she pretty much idolized and worshiped fake cremation. You know, she cremated her third husband, Al, and she cremated her mother, the foster grandma, Mildred Collins. Um, you know, and then after, it wasn't until after Al died we heard about some creepy things happen in the house about how when you and it might be voodoo related, New Orleans voodoo related, where you could be in a house, that big huge 2-story house all by yourself, and then you think you hear footsteps, and you think you hear footsteps from upstairs, or you think you hear cabinets opening and weird stuff like that. Ooh, I'm just giving myself the creeps talking about it. Let me change the subject. Excuse me, and I'm in the dark right now. I don't want to spook myself, you know. But yeah, so it's like back in 2023, like I got the Social Security check, and I don't remember if I got an SSI check too. And if I did, it probably was $23 or $24. But I needed help to make ends meet for enough to, you know, get the bus fare and, you know, the you know, I was able to partially pay for some of it, but I got the bus fare and pay and had partially enough money to get to Bloomington, Texas. And then um and then by the time I got there, it's like nobody wanted to help me. And then after I got into the city, that's when people started pouring out help. It's like, I don't know if they just didn't believe me until, if they thought I was lying, or didn't believe me until I got there, or what. But that fake T.I. um lied and said she was targeted and Christian, and she was the one who sent for me to come down there. And then I never got to meet up with her, and she ghosted me. She tried to lie and say that it was a man in the TI community. Well, she tried to make it like there was a man in the TI. I did speak to him, but she tried to make it like there was a man in the TI community that was that had like RVs or something, and he was renting out space for other TIs, but he required that you had to have a car in order to and she never told me what area of South Texas it was, you know. She just said it was outside of Victoria, Texas, or near Victoria, Texas. But you know, she sent for me to come to Bloomington, Texas, and then she ghosted me. And then afterwards, I had like to live in Bloomington. It was the most depressing summer of my life, and um, it was a nightmare. And I don't ever want to go back there again. It was worse than living in Denton, Texas. I don't ever want to go back, set foot back in Bloomington again. And then once you get there, and if you don't have a car, you don't get to get a way out. All they have is like 2 or 3 like Family Dollar or Dollar General kind of stores. and like maybe one gas station and one fast food place, and I'm surprised they have a post office. You know, and the stalkers were trying to get me wrongfully banned from the transportation that only runs Monday through Friday, and you have nowhere to go on weekends. I wasn't used to that. And then is you can't even get a cab or Uber ride to and from like so easily. You know, I had to get out of that. That was a real hellhole. I had to get out of there. Like, you know, and the fake little transportation bus driver himself was an abusive, narcissistic, fake, power hungry perp. And then they're very controlling and about how many bags you're allowed to carry on a little transportation. Or, excuse me, like in Denton, Texas, um, the transit bus drivers used to bully and harass me about how many bags I'm allowed to carry on the bus. And it was a racist, narcissistic white lady bus driver. Like when I got my groceries and when I was living in Denton, Texas back in 2007 through 2011, and I had this was after Hurricane Katrina, and one day out of nowhere, the bus driver said, coming on here with all them silly bags, huh?" And I didn't understand what she said at first, so I'm like, "Huh?" And she said, "Coming on here with all them silly bags, huh?" And I'm like, "What you mean?" And then she's like, "Three bags, three bags, three bags," you know. Like, how the hell am I supposed to have, like, come and ride the bus with only three grocery bags worth of stuff? How am I supposed to have three grocery bags worth of stuff to last me a whole month? Because when I had my own place, even in Bloomington, you know, I would go shopping once. Like once I would get whatever benefits, excuse me, and I would shop that one time and shop for the whole month and try to make my all my food last for a whole month, for the whole month until next time, you know, until the next month. Um, you know, but like when I would live in Los Angeles and try to get on the bus with the buggy, you know, they get an attitude and yell at me and say, "Ma'am, you're gonna have to fold that up," telling me that I would have to fold my cart up, the laundry cart, like you could use it for laundry and groceries, and they would get an attitude and yell at me, you know. But in New Orleans, well, I'm homeless now, but if I had, I mean, they have other people come on the bus or whatever, however much groceries they want, and the bus drivers don't really say anything, you know. They don't really tell you have a limit on how many bags of groceries you're allowed to bring on the bus, you know. But I don't really see people bringing buggies on the bus. But like in Denton, Texas, after being abused by the racist, narcissistic, fake bus drivers, um, I resorted to just having to take a cab, and that would be frustrating because um, oh, it would be the worst around me and my twin sister's birthday, and I have to be by myself. Or if I bought myself a little birthday cake and a little ice cream, it was all our birthdays August, so it'd be August hot and summer. And you try to get a cab, they tell you call back in 45 minutes. And every 45 minutes, like for 3 or 4 times, they try to keep telling you call back in 45 minutes. And after 3 or 4 hours, my ice cream beaten melted and no good and spoiled, you know. And I couldn't even enjoy ice cream for our birthday. Well, for me, by myself, you know. since me and my twin sister were living in different cities and states. Excuse me, and I would just buy like a little thing of cupcakes, or if I would try to share the rest of the cake or cupcakes with neighbors, they'd be self-righteous about making comments to try to make me feel bad, and I didn't realize they were perps being just self-righteous about, ew, I don't eat no sugar, and oh, I don't eat no processed sugar and stuff like that, you know. But then, like, I would have to deal, people, if I try to offer them something, they just try to be self-righteous and try to make me feel ashamed or try to make me feel bad. Or I have to hear narcissistic lectures from fake mental health counselors about, that's junk food. You have no business eating no junk food. I'm like, but it was our birthday. That's no excuse, Candy. You want me to punish myself? You know, excuse me. So, but, yeah. But, but it's like, yeah, it's like I'm not allowed to be happy or celebrate anything. It's like narcs yell at me for celebrating and being happy with things that other people can be free to celebrate and be happy with. It's like I'm wondering, what did I do wrong? Or, if I express or show excitement, oh, Candy, that's inappropriate behavior. Yeah. So, like, last year and this year, I got pretty much ignored when I was talking about, trying to figure out a permanent winter solution off the streets. But it's like I can't even have any place where I could stay or any housing or anything without dealing with perp neighbors. I mean, where I'm at right now, it didn't happen today, but yesterday and a couple of days before, um, they would have perp neighbors that when I come out of my hotel room, they come out of theirs, or if I'm coming in, they coming out. If I'm coming out, they're coming in, or if I leave my room to go down to breakfast or something, or if I go down to the snack machine or go renew a hotel night or go get my laundry done or do this or do that, or go get some ice, and I'm just passing from my hotel room to try to get to the elevator, and as I pass by, unknowingly, I don't know who's in what room, and I'm just minding my own business. In the moment I and it happened at other hotels too. Excuse me, if I pass by a random hotel door and then a perp neighbor, like, it's like a reverse of slamming the door closed. They would violently open the door, like, with vicious violence, open the door so quick and acting like as if they're in a rush to hurry up and bump into me. And it's just like weird. I mean, if you stay at a hotel long enough, or a motel long enough, or an extended stay place long enough, excuse me, you get the same treatment. You get the same treatment that you get when you're in an apartment and dealing with those kinds of neighbors. And that's why we're dealing with this targeting, the gang stalking cult network. They won't allow me to live anywhere for a certain kind of long, or they won't allow me to work anywhere for a certain kind of long, or go to a certain restaurant or cafe or grocery store or whatever for a certain kind of long, or excuse me, before they start to try to bully you and drive you out of the place. And I heard that people say it's to try to eliminate you from society and marginalize you, or um, like I told y'all, I was treated bad down at the front desk this morning. The lady is, if I had a job and there was a coworker with that kind of personality, it would have been considered a hostile work environment and workplace bullying. Like, she's trying to bully me out of here and try to bully me to not come back here again. You know, excuse me. But I'm gonna definitely, at another time, talk more about what I've been going through. You know, um, so, but, um, yeah, like I mentioned about having, like, I mentioned about, you know, what permanent solution could I come up with to have permanent housing for the winter, or like a solution or something. What could I do to stay off the streets and out of the cold? And you know, I got ignored, or nobody. Um, it's like nobody paid attention for me to try to see about what I could do. Um, you know, and then I'm a native of New Orleans, and everybody, excuse me, including my own family members that are even living in Texas or Georgia or wherever, making it like as if they think they got the fake authority to say we don't want you down here. And everywhere I go, I get told, "Why are you here? Why don't you go back to XYZ place where you came from?" You know, or they get really mad that I moved to a different city and state. So like when okay, I'm originally from New Orleans, grew up in Gretna all my childhood in foster care, and I went to Nichols State University. I went to Nichols in Thibodaux, Louisiana. Then I transferred to University of New Orleans and was lived back with the fake foster mom Adrian Felder. When I was going to Nichols, I was living in the dorms. Um, excuse me, I can't believe, if I'm supposed to be so slow and retarded, I almost didn't make it, but I can't believe I completed graduating from college. But I started off good, but after dealing with more gang stalking and narcissistic abuse and failure setups, I could have had higher than a 2.3 GPA. How I started off, what people were bragging, the fake foster mom Adrian Felder and Mark, they were bragging about how I had a 4.0 in my major, you know, which was Spanish, and people laughed at and mocked at me majoring in Spanish. You know, at first I wanted to be an OBGYN, a doctor, and more of an obstetrician, because I was fascinated with pregnancy and childbirth. And the perps killed that desired dream. And I tried a few other avenues they want to talk about, but it's not a realistic goal. Then after a while, I wanted to see about being a Spanish translator and interpreter. They did kill my dreams with that. You know, I gave up on any kind of Spanish career dealing because of this gang stalking. I can't even communicate with people in English. So I just work on my fiction short stories now and making nothing, like well, very little. I'm not gonna say nothing, but they have a lot more people earning more money and popularity on Kofi, you know, than I am. I can't even earn a living on Kofi. The stalkers harassed and attacked and bullied me off of buy me a coffee, and I just had one post on there, and they would harass me. They would harass me via YouTube comments or the buy me a coffee comments. They wait till I'm at work, till they know I'm at work to attack and harass me with vicious comments and bully me on purpose, and then so I can't even focus or concentrate at work and be depressed behind their abusive fake comments, and their harassment and threats. And, you know, um, so yeah, I mean, excuse me. And I've talked about my workplace mobbing experiences and you know, dealing with bossy coworkers that don't have authority over me, trying to tell me what to do and try to tell me how to do my job, and on purpose to try to set me up for failure, and then they think that they got more authority over me than the manager, or they try to pick fights, you know. And if the manager might pair me up with a 14-year-old child to be a coworker, and then have them ordering me around and telling me what to do when I'm old enough to be your mother. You a teenager, like you're not even um you a child, and if they deliberately pair me up with a teenager to work with, and have that teenager bossing me around telling me what to do and acting like they think that they're the more mature adult with authority when they're abusive, narcissistic, fake perp child, you know. And then when you try to tell certain other people about what you're going through, they try to not listen to you on purpose, and they be like, well, if they are your boss, then you do what they say. I'm like, no, they are not my boss, and they're bossy co-workers. I'm trying to, you won't even, you deliberately and on purpose trying to not listen to me, you know. With me being wrongfully banned from so many places, you know, if and dealing with this targeting, I can't, make a living doing something like the stalkers hate me to talk about food or eat food or whatever, but other people have been proud and excited to see me do food reviews, and they said that, oh, that's something you're really good at, and they said we would like to see you do more product and food reviews, and you review very well and you're very descriptive. Well, excuse me, if I do a food review of restaurants, even if if I get 5-star reviews, the stalkers will call up the place and slander me, and make sure I get treated bad or had bad customer service the next time. You know, after giving a great review, and just ruin the moment, just ruin everything. So I can't do stuff like local restaurant reviews, or they would try to have me wrongfully permanently banned. Excuse me. So I just have to stick with product reviews from like the store. Like, if I gotta do a product review on, you know, how I like this um organic alternative to Reese's peanut butter cups or something, which I have done, you know. So, but excuse me, if they had a restaurant if they had a restaurant called, you know, um, Big Back's Legendary Cafe or something like that, you know. So, say for example, if they had a restaurant called Big Back's Legendary Cafe, and I go there and I go and order something, and then I come back to my hotel room, and then um, do a review on their you know, on their, say for example, if they had a dill ranch, not a necessarily dill pickle, but you know how they have the herb dill. If they had, like, say for example, a dill ranch batter fried chicken or something, and the ranch dip or something, excuse me, and some and if they try to be creative with something like some um coleslaw potato salad mixed in together or something, like a coleslaw and potato salad fusion or something. And if they had a drink like something like pomegranate cherry lemonade, and I go and review it, and if they had like a you know, a sweet potato cheesecake brownie, just being fancy, 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 and creative, creative. And if I go and get all excited and review what I like about how the customer service was, or how this was, and if I talk about the cleanliness of the restaurant or the cafe or whatever, and then the stalkers will call up the place and show them my videos and slander me, and then the next time I go there, I end up being perped real bad and gang stalked and treated with like horrible customer service so bad that I'm walking out with an emotional meltdown and crying and you know, crying and falling to my knees, or walk out wondering, being treated so rude that I'm wondering what I did wrong, or be told that, oh, you're trespassed from here, we don't want to serve you, or something like that, you know. Excuse me. So it's like the gang stalking fake satanic Masonic cult network is trying whatever they can to wrongfully eliminate me from society. Like they won't, like, it's like I'm being wrongfully permanently banned from just existing and participating in anywhere in society. You know, I could be quiet about gangs because I didn't know about gang stalking back in 2007, 8, and 9, and I was treated with discrimination and prejudice. You know, excuse me. So yeah, after you know, Hurricane Katrina, I kind of bounced around a little bit. I lived in New York City, Denton, Texas, and then I think after Denton, Texas, I moved to Los Angeles. Excuse me, and started off homeless, and it was hell trying to get housing. And my housing started off peaceful and quiet. I mean, imagine. I wonder what would have happened if I would have known about gang stalking while I was at Union Rescue Mission and calling out the staff as gang stalkers and everything. You know, I didn't realize they were all satanic perps pretending to be fake Christian. You know, excuse me. And that Thelma Reed lady, she tried to tell me, go back to New Orleans by your family because we don't want you here. So, you know, a few years later, after dealing with Lisa Ruby, after she manipulated me to move to Greenville, South Carolina, everybody victim blamed me for what she did to me with human trafficking me down there and using the Bible and the fake deliverance ministry to human trafficked me down there. Excuse me. She tried to make herself my handler and try to make me her living slave. And me and her could not get along because I stood up to her, and she would use manipulate, and she was a perp and abusive and narcissistic. Her and her husband, they both pretended to be targeted, and they lied to me, and it seemed like Lisa Ruby and Tracy Broadhurst, they spiritually abused and traumatized me for many years. I mean, I'm sorry. They abused and traumatized me around the same time, and it took me at least 5 years to heal from their abuse, and I still don't feel like I'm fully healed from them using the Bible to abuse me. And then other people came right along and finished off where they left off or did the same type of abuse that they did. I mean, no, I didn't deal with them for all that long. Like, I dealt with Lisa Ruby for like a year or two. And, no, more like a year and a half, or almost a year and a half. And, Lisa Ruby left me out cold on the streets in an unfamiliar area. She, in an unfamiliar area, and she made false promises. Excuse me, and very abusive and controlling. Like, if you're supposed to be a friend, what are you doing trying to micromanage and police and control my finances? Control what I eat and how I eat, and try to force me to starve myself, and manipulate and control my bathroom trips. That was weird as hell. Um, Excuse me. And then when I was in Greenville, South Carolina, I guess after I broke away from her and had to suffer homelessness, and before dealing with that and transitioning, they had people at church, and even people in the soup kitchen lines or at church or whatever, that would say, "Go back to Los Angeles. What are you doing here?" And then I went back to New Orleans at my soonest opportunity in 2017. The family, like in 2011, Mark tried to be controlling and would not allow me to even visit New Orleans, but he would sneak behind my back and visit without telling me. And he would think I deserved to get killed for visiting New Orleans, and he did not want me in New Orleans, but he was in Denton, Texas, but not in New Orleans. And he would be very bossy, narcissistic, and controlling, but didn't care about me, and was using and taking advantage of me, especially financially, and ruining my mental health. Mark was a perp, and still is. That's the one that wrongfully banned me from Wyatt's funeral, and when he didn't have the authority or the right to do so. And I'm still very freaking angry. And I can never get that back. And they sleep at night and don't give a fuck. I hope they fucking burn in hell for what they did to me. This mentally slow, crazy biological family. I mean, well, I knew the family was abusive, but I didn't know there was a such thing called narcissistic abuse and gang stalking. Why they treated me the way they treated me, you know. So, but but Ramona was acting a little weird in 2017, but I finally got my own place in 2017, and then became homeless because of gang stalking neighbors in 2018. I was supposed to have ended up homeless back homeless again after a couple of months, like since October 2017. Um, but it was hard being homeless on the streets in New Orleans in 2018 and 19. You know, and before I was fully awake about gang stalking, I was partially awake, but I not fully. And but once I got to Pensacola, everybody, like, people got mad at me for moving to Pensacola and didn't want me there. And then I was in Mobile, Alabama for a couple of weeks when Alex Dupree ran me out of Pensacola, and he trafficked, he crossed state lines to gang stalk me. And like, this is insane. He was like kind of an in-person version of what fake Darnell is doing. Illegal. He was an in-person perp that would illegally swat me and illegally always knew where I'm at and tracking my every move and telling the police what to do, and the police will obey him. And I'm like, what the fuck, you know? Excuse me. And so then excuse me. So, well, when I was in places like, and when I was in Pensacola, Florida, the narcissistic control freak fake TI perps trying to police and control where they think I should live and trying to tell me get out of Florida, stay away from Florida. Or you deserve every bit of what happens to you, you know. Then I mean, I do not want to go back up north again, but people, when I was in Cincinnati, Ohio, they want us to say stuff like, "Oh, that's one of the worst." Why is it everywhere I go they want to say, "Well, that's one of the, get away from there because that's one of the worst places for gang stalking." Well, I thought you bastards say the worst place for gang stalking is Albuquerque, New Mexico. You know, excuse me, but but they vibrated my body, and that's why I was forced to have to move out of my apartment and abandon everything. I didn't know what the hell was going on, and they ruined my credit. They dropped my credit down from 699 to 630, but my credit got raised back up after so many years. The fake landlord lied on me and ruined my credit. And they turned him into a perp. He used to love me. And he used to be nice. They turned him into a perp. But I don't think he was motivated for money. I think he was just easy to be manipulated, I guess, or gullible. Excuse me. When you have a permanent place to live and you're dealing with a fake perp landlord that won't fix anything and pretend that they fixed the heater for you and to leave you to suffer and be cold on purpose. Or, if they, I mean, the gang stalking just started to get worse and worse. And before then, I didn't know what the hell was going on. And they were counting on me to be stupid and ignorant. And they felt threatened by me catching on to them, you know. But yeah, they had someone that I wasn't sure was a transgender that was abusive, narcissistic, and self-righteous, and tried to not allow me to get a driver's license in in Victoria, Texas. You know, and it was a black. That was too tall to be a damn woman. His voice was too deep and too tall. No way was that a woman. You know, and then when I come back here to New Orleans, and even recently, I forgot what situation within the past couple of weeks. Somebody try to act like they were questioning where I was from, or making me feel like I'm not wanted here, or like I don't belong here, or and then that fake ass Kenitha Grooms Williams, I think her name is Kenitha Grooms Williams or something like that. Kenitha Grooms Williams from the fake homeless day center at 1803 Gravier Street. Try to make like there's no room for me to come into New Orleans and that it's unfair for other homeless. Oh, that they were here before you and you think you could just come here. Like, motherfucker, I was born and raised here. How can you tell me to go, and she tried to tell me go back to Pensacola. And then they had an abusive bully police officer that was a black police officer of Gretna Police, and that harassed me when I was on the sidewalk that day. And trying to make like I'm not welcome here. And to deal with that fake crusty perp security guard at the Hilton downtown, Hilton Riverside Hotel. He tried to say, I don't even know where you come from. Like, well, I told you like a month before, I told you I'm from here. Excuse me. So, I'm from New Orleans, born and raised, and like over the summer of 2023, fake Darnell will harass me and say stuff like, prove you're from New Orleans or shut up. And I'm like, well, how can you tell me something like that when you won't reveal your real face or name? You know, you want me to prove I'm from New Orleans or shut up. I don't owe you internet strangers anything. And then the online stalkers, fake Darnell, like when I first came back within like a week or two of coming back to New Orleans in October 2023, he said, I'm going to make sure I get you banned from every place in the state of Louisiana. Or I'm going to make sure. And he said that before I moved to Bloomington, Texas. He said, I'm going to make sure you banned from every place of business and everywhere in Texas. You know, I'm going to make sure you're banned from the whole state of Louisiana. Get you kicked out of the whole state of Louisiana. Excuse me. And fake Darnell will make fake profiles, fake YouTube profiles and slanderous videos and using my own content to twist everything around and make me look bad. and they don't show the whole argument or the whole scenario of how everything happened. They just, you know, start off the part where I'm confronting a perp of doing something to me first, and then they'll falsely make like I'm the chief aggressor that started it, making fake profiles like menace to Bloomington, menace to New Orleans, menace to Pensacola, and then he trying to talk about me being a homeless hotel hopper and thinking it's funny. Like, you know, as I said, this gang stalking satanic cult network, even when I was in Pensacola, they established that I'm not allowed to have housing or a job until or unless I sell my soul and become a perp or become a prostitute and a perp. And they have people who sell their soul to the devil and then get killed like 2 hours later. So you don't even, and that isn't that being scammed out of your soul? The gang stalking satanic fake cult network is trying to spiritually scam me. You know, they want me to forfeit my soul, or they try to use tricks and manipulation. I'm glad they haven't been successful, and I don't want to sell out. I don't want to be satanic. And they're like, well, if you don't sell out, then you're gonna be on the streets of Pensacola begging for the rest of your life. Or they want to advertise that I do. I mean, I meant to say they want to suggest that I do prostitution or sex work. Well, they want me to be a lady of the night. I don't know much of that about that lifestyle, sex and drugs. And I don't want to be part of that lifestyle. I don't see how my twin sister can, you know, deal with, or any other family members deal with the satanic lifestyle, you know. Excuse me, but for someone to sell their soul to the devil just so they could be accepted by family or be accepted by people, gain acceptance by people, or get back in the family's good graces. So, I mean, I don't, I mean, I'm not welcome, I'm forbidden and not welcome or not allowed anywhere. Excuse me. And I'm afraid that if I try to go back to well, they try to drive or run me away from downtown. The fake perps that's younger than me, like they use noise campaigns to run and drive me away from, keep me away from downtown Pensacola. And the cops will always side with the satanic fake perps, you know. And they're like, well, it looks to me that you're harassing them. You know what the fuck is going on. They're the ones who strategically waited until after I settled and put down the sleeping bag and you know, and then after I put down the sleeping bag and the very instance I closed my eyes, next thing you know, the fake Richard Terrell perp and his fake family members and the baby, like they had their 1 year old baby in the vehicle with them blasting that loud ass music after midnight and perping and playing sight games, you know. Excuse me. And I remember when I told you about family members that said, you know, your unwanted would make you think things gonna change. Don't come back down here. And then saying stuff like, oh, don't come back down here no more. And if you do, you go stay in a hotel. I mean, I've been feeling extremely depressed and it feels awkward, odd, and different. Well, I mean, in 2018, I was disgusted enough to, even in 2012 and 2013 and 2018, I felt disgusted enough to not want to anything to do with any of the family. But there had moments when I would feel homesick and feel like missing, that I missed the family. And, you know, in 2014 and 15, I try to call family members and wondering why the whole entire family ignoring me, ignoring my calls or whatever, you know. Excuse me. And not realizing that my twin sister took advantage of when I was living in Los Angeles. My twin sister slandered me she slandered me the hardest. She got a hold of my neighbors in Los Angeles and was slandering me to my neighbors and had turned the neighbors against me and had the neighbors perping me really bad. I mean, does my twin sister have that kind of power to offer deals and pay people to gang stalk me? And like, what the hell is she, like, what kind of nefarious stuff is she into? Excuse me. My neighbors in Los Angeles they barely knew me, but they used to love me and they embraced and welcomed me until after she lied to them and got in their head around the time when the biological mom Frances passed away in 2013. And I had no support, nobody to turn to. Like, all the neighbors plus the landlord, it seemed like they all turned into gang stalkers at about the same time. At around the same time. Around the time the biological mom Frances passed away. And that's when, like, I had like a year of peace with living with the neighbors. Well, actually, more like almost about a year and a half of peace with living with the neighbors. Even though I did have some nosy neighbors and stuff like that. But the neighbors, after a while, started participating in the gang stalking. In the landlord, which was supposedly the owner. Excuse me. And you know, and I didn't, I was, I've talked about things that weird stuff that happened when I was living in Los Angeles. I didn't even realize gang stalkers were entering my home, entering my apartment. I mean, that wasn't an apartment, that was a house. Well, not its own house. It was like triplex, not duplex, but triplex, um, house. Excuse me. And neighbors would sneak while I'm asleep and rearrange things in my kitchen, and I would go to sleep and then wake up, all my cabinets are open, or somehow the back door is open, and it didn't even cross my mind to call the police. Cops would have done anything anyway. I heard that a lot of people, when they report gang stalking, I heard the cops won't do shit until after you're dead, and that's when they would do something about the stalking and harassment. Excuse me. So, but anyway, I can't believe I've been talking this long. It's 10:55 p.m. right now. But I'm in the dark and I can talk longer while taking up less space, and I could be uninterrupted. Um, excuse me. So, yeah, I'm glad it seemed like at least two people understood about the situation with that lady. I like a few days ago that lady was using her daughter. At first I thought it was two homeless druggies. I didn't know it was a home. I mean, I didn't know it was a lady and her disabled daughter. But that lady went to try to put her stuff on the same bench as my stuff. I mean, as me and my stuff. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing? That was deliberate. But I mean, I didn't realize that the daughter was an underage child that was disabled. I thought they were, I thought they were two homeless druggies, you know. But the lady was using her daughter, her disabled. It wasn't the daughter's fault, but it was the lady using her daughter as a pawn or a shield. Excuse me. Exploiting. And I heard that when people use their children to perp, they're pimping and trafficking their kids. And they have certain kids and teenagers that gang stalk and perp without their parents' supervision. Like, I have a video from 2021 where they had an underage 17-year-old boy. I mean, he probably was younger than 17, and illegally driving with one headlight and following me in the Uber that I was riding in, and creepily following me. And he didn't have any adult supervision. He was a child. He was underage. And I have other instances where they would have teenagers without adult or parental supervision that just, even if they're 12 and 13 years old, that know how to gang stalk on their own. You know, or and I heard that sometimes they would initiate you at the age of 3. And they start off and doing stuff like dressing the kids in perp clothes, the babies, but the baby's too young to perp. Excuse me, but I heard that they start training you when you're 3 in the occult and start to gang stalk. You know, you're not training your child biblically in the way that child should go. You're training your child how to be evil and satanic, and how to be disrespectful, and as disrespectful and filthy and dirty and abusive as possible. You know, where they have kids that will psychologically, mentally, and emotionally torture and torment you. Excuse me, you know. So, um, excuse me. where they train the kids to be as disrespectful and abusive as possible, and try to have the kids to order you around and tell you what to do and act like they think they're a high authority figure over you and have power over you. You know, and then when you try as best as you could to put that child in their place, they make like, oh, look at her harassing children. So I'm glad two people understood, but the stalkers were making like they were mad as hell at that video. You know, they try to falsely make like, oh, look, Candy being abusive towards disabled people, and that's not the case. I just explained to y'all what happened. Excuse me. And the video where I mentioned about the man being caught trying to steal my bags, only one person sympathized and gave a thumbs up. It seemed like I must have got massive thumbs down, and they must have felt like, oh, she deserved to get her bag stolen. Like, you know, but I got like over 240 something views and 8 likes on the video about me talking about the fake fisherman, talking like he wanted to sex traffic me. Excuse me. You know, but yeah. And it's like everybody wants me as out in the open and unsafe as possible, and uncomfortable and tortured, you know. And I feel bad, like I feel like a burden for, you know, having to ask for help for hotel every day, but I don't know of any other or better way to survive. They're not letting me work. They're not allowing me to earn a living. I wrote a fiction short story earlier this afternoon. Excuse me. So since the last video, basically, I ate exactly this morning. I ate exactly what I had yesterday morning. You know, I felt kind of guilty after eating the muffins today. I had two smaller sized chocolate muffins, and I had some eggs, sausage. Um, I had eggs, sausage, and I put ketchup on the eggs. I had I don't remember if I had two little cups of apple juice or apple and orange, and I had a couple of little packets of peanut butter, and I had 2 little cups of milk, and I felt almost grossed out because I felt like the milk wasn't cold enough for me. You know, I feel like I'm starting to hate hotel milk. Why isn't it cold enough? But at one hotel, a different hotel recently, the hotel milk was sour, and I almost puked. Like I gagged. You know, it was warm and sour. But now, ever since that incident, I've been traumatized to drink milk at hotels now. Excuse me, you know. But I mean, my stomach was about to have a violent conniption, you know, with um that milk situation a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, you know, I think I had double of the apple juice again today. But tomorrow, I don't know if I should try to have oatmeal and everything else the same, but just have oatmeal instead of the muffins. You know, um, excuse me. And for lunch, I finished the rest of the bag of chips, and I was afraid I was gonna get sick or something bad was gonna happen to me, but I turned out fine. And I had some of the microgreens. Oh, that was burning my tongue. The radish greens, the radish microgreens were burning my tongue. I'm surprised it didn't burn my nose like the regular radish does. Um, you know, but like they were burning my tongue. Excuse me, the radish was burning my tongue, and I mean the radish green, radish microgreens, and I like, ooh, I like that radish microgreens and sunflower microgreens, and I forgot what the other one they said it was. If not broccoli, then I don't remember. Um, but oh, I think that the radish microgreens was killing the bacteria on my tongue. You know, excuse me, and I still did not eat the other cucumber. Um, so I um I don't remember what time I had to do some research to work on my fiction short story, like research certain websites and excuse me, I know with the websites, just I mean, I wasn't expecting y'all to read all that, but this was also for my information too. Um, I wrote a fiction short story about women trying to boss and control their husbands, you know, and I heard that biblically a woman not supposed to try to rule her, try to boss, control, and overrule her husband. The man is supposed to be a leader. Excuse me. Because I thought about, was it a Louisiana thing or a New Orleans thing where the woman would be like 14 or 15 years younger than her husband and then order him around and tell him what to do, you know, while he be submissive. And I heard it ain't supposed to be like that. Excuse me. And so I kind of wrote a fiction short story. I don't even think it came out good enough because I was sleep deprived. Because last night, excuse me, I finally got help with dinner after some time, and I ate a little bit late. It was about, maybe was it 9 o'clock or after 9 o'clock, and then I had crab cakes, mac and cheese, and peas, and the cake was nasty. And I think the crab cakes, they were so good, and I don't know if that was remoulade sauce, but the sauce was really good. But it was so good, but it gave me explosive bad acid reflux and heartburn, and that kept me up all night until like 4 o'clock in the morning. Excuse me, and then I finally fell asleep and got me some sleep, and then I woke up. I don't know if it was by 8 o'clock, and then 8:30 I went downstairs. I got help later last night, and then I went to renew another night, and dealing with the front desk agent being rude to me and stuff, and having her face twisted up, mad, and have this murderous kind of hate anger look at me, and had an attitude, you know, and it was very hard for me to try to shake it off because I feel like I know that I did nothing wrong. And people say, well, it's just her problem, you know. And then I try to ask for advice, and everybody try to falsely assume that I was the one. Like when I talked about when my when the girl hung up in my face on Sunday, I try to ask for advice about how was I wrong, and they try to feed into jump into their own false conclusions, and they felt like, oh, I don't believe that you could just call up and say, "Hi, I'm Candy. I'm a Diamond member," and they just hang up. They're like, "Oh no, obviously you were rude to her first. I don't believe that she would just hang up on you just for that reason. Obviously you were rude and an entitled prick, and you were being a dick, and flattery gets you nowhere, and you probably cursed her out. You probably did this." Like, y'all gotta be abusive, narcissistic, fake perps to all come and attack me and act like know-it-all narcissists when y'all don't know anything that happened. Yes, exactly how it happened. "Hi, I'm Candy Grand Prix. I'm a Diamond member." Click. But if she would have let me talk, I would have said, you know, when is it an acceptable or safe or good time for me to come and do an early check-in? You know, I wasn't even given that opportunity. But if someone would have said that I hung up in their face just by saying that, then their story would have been believed. Because they feel like, oh, Candy is nuts. Excuse me. They wouldn't have tried to challenge that person. You know, they wouldn't have tried to say, oh, I don't believe Candy would do that. You know. But yeah, I'm telling you straight up exactly what happened. Excuse me. So the other lady from this morning, was mad at me. You know, you act like as if your coworker is your relative or something. Is that ain't your daughter? So that ain't your daughter. That ain't your cousin. That ain't your niece. Why you mad at me? You already hated me and had a problem with me. And trying to control what words come out my mouth and try to control what I say and being just a total bitch for no reason at all. As I said, I don't have many options or many places to go. So if people be like, well, if you don't like it here, why you come here? Why you keep coming here? And that would be at restaurants, hotels, different places. Like, well, I don't have many. I have less. By the stalkers having me wrongfully banned from everywhere, I have less choices of where I could go, less opportunities on where I could go. Excuse me. I never in my entire life before lived out in the woods or lived off the grid and do not know how to survive that lifestyle. And how could I do that without a car and no money? I don't know how I can live like that. Excuse me. I wouldn't know how I could do it alone. But they have certain people that profess to be targeted individuals that will say that they will try to go live off the grid and via drones and satellites and microchips, that the gang stalkers still found them and performing their tactics like, um you know if you claim to be a homeless ti living out in the woods, and or you're living in a van and you got all your so-called shielding devices and have your whole entire van planted with foil and stuff like that, and you got something like a beanie over your head that's supposed to block the directed energy weapon attached to your head and stuff. And they be having fakes that be pretending. That's the sickest thing. They be perps posing as targets and pretending they live a whole entire lifestyle pretending that they're targeted, while they go and falsely claiming that they're chosen or God's chosen the elect, and then they do like what fake Ronald Soriano does, you know, perping and harassing while pretending that their suffering is targeting and that the targeting is so unbearable. So the targeting is so unbearable that you have to turn around and gang stalk and harass and bully and slander a fellow TI that doesn't know you and has not done you anything. While you playing both sides pretending that you're Christian posting Bible scriptures and then going behind closed doors and doing the devil's work and spreading hate and causing division. Like now everybody's trying to be fake and use Christianity as a cover up and a front, but then they be so self righteous with telling me, don't curse, stop cursing. But then behind closed doors, they're spreading lies and telling everybody that you deserve to get killed. You know, and I heard Ronald Soriano himself illegally swatted me on February 15th. And how the hell Amanda made it like she was warning me, and it seemed like as if she probably was secretly part of the conspiracy. As I said, when I'm in the hotel, the stalkers try to get me wrongfully kicked out and banned. But when I'm on the streets, they illegally swap me with the police and you send the police out to harass. Or their goal, and Alex Dupree, his goal was try to set me up to get shot and killed by police. And that's what fake Darnell is trying to do. Trying to set me up to get shot and killed by the police. You a guy doing this to a black, single, disabled, homeless female with no family backup, no family support, and no family to care. For me to have an identical twin to just sit there and watch me go through this and bully me and slander me and lie and say Candy ain't targeted. And the cult gave her 25 thumbs up for lying on me. How can you sit there and watch your own twin sister be stalked and harassed and slow murdered, and you keep trying to gaslight, work harder to gaslight, and like, how can I be a narcissist with no flying monkeys, but you can have people to side with your lies and everything? She pretends that she's the narc victim. I mean, it's so odd for me to be here in New Orleans and wrongfully permanently banned from the family forever. Like, it's weird. I can't even go by Ramona's house to visit. I don't know if Ramona, I don't know what is going on, because I heard that she has elderly related sickness now. Like, I don't know if it's Alzheimer's, dementia, or what's going on. You know, excuse me. My biological parents are both deceased, and the online stalkers, you know, the fake Ling, Angie Peterson, you know, was spreading lies and talking about, you know, I don't even know how she tried to find out information, trying to lie and say both of my parents were crackheads and stuff. There was no talk in the biological family about the biological mom, Frances, being an actual crackhead. I heard that was gang stalking smear campaigns from the fake foster family, because I think the biological mom, Frances, it seemed like she was both targeted and perp, playing both sides, you know. I really think she was heavily targeted, but also she was perping me, you know. Excuse me. But the fake foster family had, you know, false smear campaigns. But I don't know for sure if the biological mom, Frances, really was a crackhead or not. But my biological dad, Arthur, was former military, even fought in the Korean War. He was an actual military veteran that fought in the Korean War. So people saying that, certain people said, well, it was your biological dad, Arthur, that put you in the gang stalking program since he was former military. But I don't know that for sure. But far as I know, the fake foster mom, Adrian Felder, had us in a cult. And she was my freaking handler. I hate that. I hate to be forced to have to bring myself to admit that. But she was our handler. Me and my twin sister and some of the other siblings, the foster mom was our handler. And a witch, an occultic voodoo witch. And the online stalkers on my live stream last night, they lied on me and falsely accused me of practicing voodoo, and I don't even know any voodoo tactics or any voodoo techniques. I don't practice voodoo. I don't even research to learn any of their tactics or techniques. I can't tell you one voodoo technique. Well, I heard that the biological mom Frances used to also, and the biological sister Ramona, and certain other siblings. I heard Mark and Derek supposedly that they all practice voodoo, and that's why they fake successful and why I'm freaking struggling. I wouldn't be surprised if my twin sister herself practiced voodoo and try to and use projection and lie on me and say I practice it. My twin sister bragged about putting a voodoo spell on an ex-girlfriend and having her arrested and thrown in jail, and bragged and laughed about it. I never performed a voodoo spell on anyone to destroy their life or hurt them. I don't even know how. But some people say that when the biological mom Frances used to pour bleach on the stairs outside, like on by the shotgun house or duplex housing or whatever, they said that that was a voodoo ritual. And Mark and the biological mom Frances, they would do stuff like, you know, have a bunch of incense, and they will have like candles and incense and stuff. And I heard it was voodoo related or voodoo causes. And the foster mom Adrian Felder used to have all these wicked masks and statues around her house for voodoo purposes. They said the foster mom Adrian Felder was very, very wicked. And then she had us in that fake cult. So, but anyway, I'm gonna finish telling y'all about my day. It's 11:21 right now. So I hope I didn't use up too much data, because I was hoping to try to use up less than 1 more gigabyte for the day. Um, excuse me, but I don't know. As I said, I'm trying to ration my phone data. So dang, for me to use up 4 gigabytes in one day, I didn't mean to do that. But I don't have the freaking Wi-Fi access. Earlier today, I didn't realize it was not raining, and I'm like, well, damn, if I would have known it wasn't gonna rain throughout the day, then I probably would have um prepared to try to go get my mail or something, or go out and do something, because I kind of felt like I wanted to get out of the hotel and try to go and do something, you know. Excuse me, because I've been here since Sunday. Let's see. Yeah, I have not left the building since Sunday. I have not left the building since Sunday. And thanks y'all for y'all help. Um, so later this morning, I guess. Oh, I did watch a video, and I want to share it with y'all. Probably tomorrow I will, about I guess what they talk about Stoic philosophy, but I don't want to get deep into Stoic philosophy. But it was a video describing about how neighbors do, and I'm like, this is exactly what gang stalking is, and other people were saying the same thing. to give you an idea of how gang stalking neighbors act. I'm definitely gonna share that with y'all. Excuse me. And so I watched that, and I forgot what else I did throughout the day. I don't remember if it was this morning or this afternoon. I think it was this morning after breakfast. I took a shower and washed my hair. Used the last of that conditioner. So now it's like I have to use conditioner in my hair now and comb my hair out, and I still have those knots in my head. I need something that's slicker and oilier, and I ran out of whatever kind of conditioner or oil for my hair. Excuse me. And so last night someone helped me with funds for one more hotel night plus food. So for lunch, I had, oh yeah, I did tell y'all I had the rest of the bag of chips, and I had some of the lemonade. I'm almost done with the lemonade, and I had the microgreens, some of the microgreens, but I'm not finished the microgreens, and I didn't have the last cucumber. And then for dinner, I ordered buy one get one free dinner, and the other dinner I will save for lunch tomorrow. Um, so I guess I will have to eat it for lunch tomorrow if I don't. Excuse me, if I don't have help with hotel nights. Like, it's supposed to rain bad. It's supposed to rain bad. You know. So I don't know if it was later this morning or earlier this afternoon I started to gather research, and that took up some of my phone data, research and links and stuff, because sometimes I might do research accompanied with the ideas for a short story. you know, I don't think this short story was my best, but it was a short story that I wrote. It wasn't my best, but I don't think it was the worst either. And I was still sleep deprived from last night. And so I wrote a fiction short story, and I was supposed to have published it earlier, but I fell asleep and took a nap like around after 4 o'clock this afternoon. And I guess I woke up at excuse me, my sleep was spotty. Then I woke up at almost 6:40 this evening, and then I ordered dinner, and the dinner came after 8 o'clock, and I had pork and beans and rice, and it was sausage, and I had some potato salad and a piece of fish. And I went down. I was wrestling with myself on whether or not to go down to the snack machine, craving more craving more sugar. And I caved in, but instead of getting two sugary snacks, I got the just a pack of peanut M&Ms, one pack. But and I took my I don't have Amazing Grass supplement. It's been months since I got to have that. I took my bentonite clay supplement that's almost gone. I took the bentonite clay supplement. Um, you know, so yeah, I've been talking almost 2 hours. It's almost 11:30. Yeah, as I said, I'm not live streaming tonight um because I just needed a break from the unnecessary stress and the harassment, and I wanted to be able to be free to just talk. You know, but if I would have live stream, I don't know if that would have took up me live streaming with the lights on. If that would have, I don't know if that would have taken up more space than me doing a regular video in the dark. But at least I can just talk like normal, and I don't have to for fake Darnell to trigger my Tourette's, and for me to scream, for me to have to scream. and dealing with being in distress. And, like, just they won't allow me to any peace, y'all. Both online and in person stalkers, they won't allow me peace. You know, and so I have to be cautious myself of people who pretend that they're Christian but behind closed doors practicing gang stalking and slash or witchcraft and pretending like they're holier and more righteous than you. You know, so it's supposed to rain really bad. I don't know about, yeah, I think it's supposed to rain tonight and rain worse tomorrow and rain worse and worse each day until Monday. And then the rest of like next week is supposed to be like colder at night. So it doesn't look like I could get rid of my my big jacket yet. Um excuse me, but I had no choice but to get rid of the sweatpants because of the big holes and tears in the sweatpants. You know, and I don't even know if the tight pants that was given to me, I'm not sure if that would be enough or if I would be suffering out in the cold at night. You know, it'd be warm during the day and cold at night during this time of the year. You know, but July it would be unbearably hot, hot, hot. So like I need help with Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night of hotel, and I don't know if I do have to go to a different hotel and it's raining that I would need to have an Uber to get over there to whatever other hotel that might be cheaper. But I would hate to have to just suffer out in the rain. Like after buying dinner tonight, like I would not have enough money for an Uber to the library. You know, excuse me. So I need any and all the help I could get. I know the stalkers watch all my videos from start to finish, but my supporters they probably might watch 5 or 10 minutes of the video, and you know I'm pretty sure they have a life. So whatever you can afford to watch, whatever time you got, it's if you don't have time to watch the whole 2 hours, then you know it's understandable. If you got a busy life, if you got a job, if you got work, if you got kids and grandkids, you know it's understandable. You know, but thanks for your whatever support you're able to give. You know, and I be feeling ashamed and feeling bad being a burden. But the stalkers illegally swatting me and having me wrongfully arrested, and the slanderous videos and posts that they make about me, if a potential employer were to Google me, they would make the decision and not hire me because of what the stalkers lied and said about me, and that's boosted up at the top of the YouTube search and Google search. Like the stalkers slanderous videos about me come up, or that the slanderous posts come up about me before my own content about me. Like these internet stalkers think they rule me and own me and stuff like that. So you keep making slanderous videos about me and posts about me. That is preventing me from getting work and jobs. And then when I do get hired to work on a job and experience in workplace mobbing, the online stalkers were talking about, oh, Candy won't last long on the job, or she's gonna get fired the first day and stuff, or she keep it up, her coworker's gonna bash her upside the head with a hot frying pan. Oh, that's what I would do and stuff like that. You know, like they think I deserve to have assault and violence and murder happen to me. You know, when if you're really targeted, then how could you be targeted and not sympathize or understand with another target? You know, and that's frustrating that if if everybody claimed to be targeted and chosen, and if we're going through this, how come you can't sympathize with me but another person that's going through the same thing, you know how to support and sympathize with them. You know, and this favoritism and elitism in the TI community is not supposed to operate like a cult, but the popular fake TI perp cult, excuse me, you know, they're all elitists and control the TI community, and they do nothing but oppress us at the bottom, and then manipulate us to be against each other and not trusting each other and fighting each other while we idolizing and worshiping. Well, not me, but other people in the so-called TI community idolizing and worshiping the popular fake TI perp cult, controlled and run, fraudulently and illegally by the fake targeted justice that I call fraudulent injustice. And it's okay for them to give false promises of all these fake rallies and lawsuits, and you know and it's okay for targeted justice to beg for donations. They want donations from us broke, poor, homeless TIs, but they don't do a damn thing to freaking help us, and they just leave us on like a hamster on a wheel, and leave us with false promises and false hopes while they're the freaking top cult leaders of the so-called TI community. It's like I gotta be targeted alone by myself, with being part of no group, and just suffering this the best way I mean to trying to survive this the best way I know how. You know, how could I be homeless and stay in hotels and motels with a hotels that cost $115 a night because I'm wrongfully banned from the $60 ones, and if all I could get a job to pay would be $70 a day and 5 days a week, and low wage part time jobs where I would still have to be asking for donations even if I had a job, or like when I was at the in town suites and could walk right across the highway to Piccadilly. um I probably would have been barely making it. Well, I think it was 400 a week, and for me to have $11 an hour and 30 hours a week so that they could make $330. That fake Masonic 33. That was the all gang stalking setup. I'm surprised they hired me to work so quickly, and then fake perp coworkers were already planted there. The second day I started dealing with the workplace mobbing, and it's like I'm hearing a lot of people do not want to work because of toxic work environments. It's not about people being lazy, but it's because of workplace mobbing and workplace bullying being more rampant, even in nursing industry. A lot of nurses I heard that get ganged up on and bullied and forced to quit after all that schooling to go to nursing school, and then to deal with toxic work environment with the nurses. But as I said, I need help with 3 more nights, and I hate to have to ask for 125, at least a minimum of $125 per night for the next 3 nights of hotel. And the stalkers were the same stalkers that got me wrongfully banned from the $60 place and the $80 hotels and motels. So they're the same ones that want to be fake outraged and act like, well, how dare her try to ask for $125? Nobody's gonna give her $125 a day. You know. Well, you got me wrongfully banned from the $60 places. Yeah, y'all took part in having me wrongfully banned from the shelters. So where else y'all expect me to get struck by lightning and die in the rainy weather, or with the tornadoes and hail? It's supposed to be bad weather. So in the like I only got like one thumbs up in the previous regular video today and the video that I did yesterday that was a regular video. Yeah, all I got was one thumbs up and like over 100 something views. It's mainly stalkers watching all my videos, you know. But I understand if my supporters are very busy and have things to do. So, you know, it's understandable. But I love y'all. I'm going to get off this video. It's 11:39 p.m. It's probably going to be tomorrow by the time, after midnight, by the time this video uploads. But I need any and all the help I could get. And I'm going to still continue to fight to survive.